right, so now we're going to talk about what's the hardest shot for a lacrosse goalie to save. Now, when I wrote that title, I realized that there's so many variables, right, that could make that could be the answer, right? So, but I believe that in a straight on situation, we're talking about just a shot. It doesn't have to be time and room, but it's just where's the hardest shot, and that would be kind of off stick, below the knee, and probably about 6 inches off the ground, and maybe 8 inches. Because the reason why I say that is like if you're gonna kick save it, if you're just gonna whip out a leg and kick save it, well, you're gonna get that low area, right? And and your foot and your ankle and your shin better be protected, or else you're never gonna want to train that, and you're never gonna get good at it if you don't train it. Uh, the other reason it's hard is because I teach to when you save a ball to the like if I'm a righty goalie and I'm saving a ball to my off stick side, that bottom hand glove needs to go into that space first. Not We're not just rotating the stick and pulling that hand out of the way, because we may never get the stick there, right? May never get the stick head there. So we've got to get the hand down into that space. Now, even if you're a um, in this clip, this is kind of cool because there's two clips here. One is Kyle Burnlore, the other is Adam Ghittleman, and got all the respect for both those guys. And so there's a lot to talk about here. So this is Lyle Thompson. All right, let me just change my FPS again. Sorry, guys. All right, we are going to go forward. So this is Lyle Thompson coming around against the Archers, and he schools this long pole who is like picking up his shorts, and then here he comes, and this is side right, just for some perspective. And then he's going to come around, and he's going to just huck this thing around this defender, so it's a slight screen. And this takes a lot of strength, by the way. So he's going to release that ball, kind of a, how do you want to call that? One quarter shot. um, and this is on Gittleman. So this is a bouncer. Okay. And this is something this is a shot I never saw growing up in New England. Never saw it. Never saw it. Went to Canada when I moved to Canada in 2001, and I was still playing. Uh, these box guys would come out and they would run this little skip bouncer deal. And on Gittleman, so Gittleman's a righty goalie, and I love Gittleman's stance. So for those of you looking for a really good stance, I believe Adam Gittleman is probably one of the smartest goalies playing. And I think the fact that he's had such longevity playing proves that for him, right? It tells that to him, tells that to the world. Because I believe at his age and when he graduated college and his longevity in the PLL is testament to the fact that he's a smart guy. Now, there's things he can do better, but this stance, I love this stance. Okay, this is the stance I teach. I had the chance to talk to Adam a bunch of years ago. I believe Adam should be a world team goalie, but he's probably too short for the coaches, no matter how good he plays, right? Which drives me crazy. So there's this little skip, this bouncer. Now, really, you're a PLL level defender and you're ducking. Like, seriously? Unless you were watching the ball go between your legs, like, wee. And then here goes that little skip pass. And now it's going to catch, if you watch right here, okay, you watch that ball skip, and then his knee comes in, and it basically goes right where his knee was, right? So there's his knee, right? There's his knee, and he's pinching, but if he had stayed there, that ball would have hit him conveniently right off like the inside of the patella tendon, like that, just like that right little, that spot that hurts like what. Um, and so there's a couple things here. One, I believe Gittleman is too deep in the cage. That would help him here. All right. That would help him here, because if Thompson for somehow like hooked this ball up top, like top G's stick side high, Gittleman could not get his stick there, like just couldn't get there fast enough or far enough. Okay. So I'd like to see Gittleman out closer to the shot, to the shooter. That's going to help. But also in this particular save, this is where I believe a goalie who has played protected for a really like long time, meaning like protected kind of in the knees and the shins. Like you would never see an ice hockey goalie really do this type of misread to the ball. Okay, uh, but in lacrosse we see it a lot because see how so Gittleman's trying to get the stick head there, right? And it's just too slow, right? It's just too slow. Why? Because it's too far away. So the only way to make this save is with your leg. Like at this distance, at this speed, with a reaction, like with the chance to see the ball, know where it's going, and move in front of it. The only way to make the save is with your leg, which ironically was already there, right? Was already there. And when we talk about the Georgetown goalies in our next segment, I'll show you also some pretty some pretty skinny legs getting out of the way. But I digress. So um I I bet there was some side spin on that ball towards that near pipe. Disagree. I disagree. Because the way that ball, the way he releases his stick head here, that's a straight release. There's no spin. There's no spin. Or, I mean, there's spin, but not enough to make it do much. Right? Not at that distance. That's another thing. That's a great comment, by the way. Is that Greg Lapham? I can't see. Or that's David. I see you, buddy. Um, you know, there's a couple things that high school goalies, especially, get all up about, and one is greasers, and two is spin. And I had the chance, when I was young, I went to the Syracuse camp where when the Gates were still playing at Syracuse. That's how old I am, and and that's the first time I saw spin was from the Gate brothers. But the action on their stick to get the spin on a ball that's basically round, and I know these guys use the right. These are those what are these called? The pearls. They're not spinning, right? Not here, right? There's nothing really. There's no misread here in my opinion on Gittleman's part. It's just it comes down to protection. It comes down to this is obviously a hard ball to see because it's screened, right? And that's a fantastic shot. But really, if your defender's this close to Lyle Thompson, like, dude, sorry, man, but like man up. Take one for the team. Like in hockey, right? A defender would be blocking this puck, right? If that was a puck, right? So like really, you're like cringing. This just makes me like it's just one more example about how like defenders are not doing their share. And this is at the pro level, right? Soak one up for your goalie, right? This is where I believe a goalie who is protected for their they're going to spend more reps and they're going to be more confident making this save with a leg. It's just going to be ingrained. I'm not saying that Gittleman is like afraid of the ball by far. That's not at all what I'm saying here. I'm just saying that the the repetition here that's been practiced is this idea of like, oh, I've got to get my stick head to this area to make the save. And that's, in my opinion, that's no longer the play. Ball's coming from too fast, from too close. You got to get something else on it. What's it going to be? Right. And have you trained that? Okay. Um, so, and that's kind of like, you see the follow through here from Gittleman too, like how he ends up. It's like, dang it. I was just there. But like he's in the cage, right? His hips are behind the goal line, right? His shoulder, like the side of his head is about to hit the post. That's how deep he is. Okay. So this is a kind of a cool clip. All right. And this is against Burnlore. And this is a little bit more of a obviously time and room shot because the defender like blows a tire. Right. But then here's Burnlore. So let's just talk about offset goaltending. Love this. Love it. Love the stance. Love the positioning. Now, in this particular case, like your stance for lacrosse goalie will morph. Um, um, if so, the Gittleman setup that I showed you a second ago, the Gittleman setup here. Okay, now my FPS is off. Okay, there we go. All right, going back. So right here, right, I like this wider stance. I like the flatter stick because it brings the elbow and the glove into this area to be used, right? To be used. Now, granted, I say that, but everybody complains about the thickness of lacrosse goalie gloves. That they're not going to practice like 100 reps in a practice on like off stick hip staves with like a blocker, right? Or off his elbow. If you did that, like you wouldn't be able to blow his nose, right? Or wipe his butt, because you wouldn't be able to flex your elbow. That's again, this drives me nuts. We're to change the game, we need to be changing our goalies. Okay. And so here, time and room. Now, Burnlore is a lefty. And so in this case, because this shot is kind of from a little bit more of an angle, uh, uh, Burnlore like classically stands like this, but again, the bottom there's some hope here that if the ball goes 5-hole, that he's got like the knees and the bottom hand to get down and make a save. But the idea here, so some people like right when I say, oh, you should move out, right? Um, uh, Greg Lapham writes, if the deep hole had shin pads, he could have kick saved it. True. Looks like if that deep hole had some balls, he would have just done something. But come on, like of all the guys, right? That's a $500 like 6-foot stick. Let's use it, man. Um, so so here, the shot is this is not going to be a bouncer, right? He just rips it. So let's talk about release. So when you're talking about a player at this caliber that has creativity, which a lot of kids don't have, right, in high school, right? A lot of goalies think, oh, that kid's like so crafty. Yeah. So the way the stick is looking here, you would think that like it's that front elbow, in my opinion, and the forearm that's giving away where the shot's going to go, because that's where you're going to get all like a lot of your power. Like it's a pull, it's a yank, right? And the top hand is coming through. So one, we're reading the stick. Now I love Burnlore's stance. This is solid, but when people talk about I don't have enough time to react to the ball, that's why I stand so far back in the cage. Watch this, right? There comes the ball, and Burnlore overreacts, right? So the stick head, right? Let's just make a note for the stick head here. The stick head is very centrally located in the cage. It's centrally located in the cage, right? It's low. His top hand is it's like the thumb is probably about even with his chin. It brings it down. Okay, so when I see your goalie standing like a freaking like Statue of Liberty because they went to some camp all summer and that's how they have him stand with their bottom hand all the way under the top hand, like come on, guys, think, like seriously, think, right? But watch this. He overreacts to it and it hits the top of the stick and goes in. What this tells me is he's got plenty of time to react to this ball and he had to move a significant amount, right? Right? The stick only needs to go like so there's the ball, right? There's the ball, right? So he only needed to move the stick. Hopefully I can do this here. The bottom of the stick needed to go here. All right. So if I rewind this, he moved from there to there. You see that? The camera's moving, so it's a little unfortunate, but there. Okay. Boom. All right. So to make this save, all right, the idea is we want to come further out. I'd love to see Burnlore again, top of the crease. Like if you move him out, like his right foot is on the post, okay? And I love where he's placed because he's offset, right? He's got this entire side like covered. The hardest thing for him to save at this point would be this little sliver in the top corner, right? But he's still in an athletic stance enough to get up, boom, right? But this is the same thing I talked about like 2 years ago, I think, with Concannon on that one clip where he was super low to the ground and ready to go, right? So this is so there's a lot of things here. One, Plenty of time to react to the ball, right? Plenty of time to react to the ball. Actually, when you come out further, you've got less to move, right? And that top hand on the shooter really gives away the trajectory of the ball, okay? But you watch, I don't know if you can see the head of the stick flex, right? Right. Boom. Unfortunate. Okay. So the other thing to consider, guys, is that this shot, right, is well within the post, right? It's like 12 inches inside the post. So I think if you were to rate a shot, this is probably not exactly where he wanted to be. He probably wanted to maybe go 5 hole. I don't know, whatever. I won't speculate that. But what's kind of cool about it is that between this shot and the one on Gittleman, they're kind of the same without the skip. They're going to the same spot, but on two different goalies, right? Right hand, left hand, and he still scored. And I think that kind of sucks. So, anyway, but but see what I mean by that? Like if we move the goalie out closer to the shooter, we're going to be bigger in front of it. We're going to increase our chance to get hit. We have plenty of time. Like this is a pro goalie, obviously. He's been playing for a long time. Maryland's dude, tons of experience. The idea is that we can do better here. This is to me, this is a save that should have been made, right? And when you take, in some of these games, like one shot can make a massive difference. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening wherever you are. Do me a favor, hit the like button if you like this, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. When you're ready, head on over to lacrossegoalieuniversity.com/coaching so I can work with you and your goalie. And while you're at it, check out athletespecific.com to learn more about mental performance and high performance. You may not know this, but I work with athletes in a variety of sports. Lacrosse is my love, but man, I love athletes and the families who support them. So head on over to athletespecific.com, check it out. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.